The second annual Cheyenne River Classic is ramping up.
It was brutal cold that day.
They team back up with Dominic of Brotherhood Arms.
They asked me to get out of a truck, and I'm like,
and start laying down some fur.
Where'd he go? And Lonny's like, just sit down, just sit down.
That's all right now on Coyote Culture.
We're headed back to our second annual Cheyenne River Classic video calling contest. We're actually going to be doing a little hunting with Dominic again.
The second year, this last year, was a completely different ball game.
Orrin, Derek, Dakota, and I, we drew names out of the hat to see who was going to go, and to our surprise, it was actually Derek and I again.
It was brutal cold that day.
As we're setting up for this contest, we realized that there's some bad weather coming in. We went from being a 30-degree day to being negative 30-degree wind chill factors in a matter of literally hours.
So much snow on the ground, I think we might even got stuck that day.
I'm used to sitting in a tree stand in 20-degree weather, wind blowing, but when you're out there in the middle of the prairie, 30-mile-an-hour winds, raining, sleeting, snowing, absolutely miserable. I mean, I had a beard at the time and it was nothing but ice. They asked me to get out of a truck, and I'm like, I think we could just go drink some coffee somewhere and have just as good a time. But
we had about 50 teams show up this year, and which is a great turnout. We were just under what we had in the first annual, but to have that many teams willing to come out and fight the elements, I mean, it just shows you about the coyote callers we have here in South Dakota. When we first got word that the weather was going to be as bad as it was, we really had to change gears on our hunting. We were going to go to the same spot as we did the year before. Mother Nature decided to throw a wrench in our plans, and we knew we had to get out of the wind and out of the cold weather, so we chose to hunt some river breaks and just stay low. And
we set up on a fence line coming down from a butte. I was in front of Lonny. Lonny had the camera. Derek was actually off to our left side watching. There's a creek bottom that ran down, and he was watching that. Lonny starts calling, and I don't think 5 minutes went by, and Lonny mentioned to Derek there's a coyote. You just barely see. I seen his head, and then all of a sudden he was gone.
We set up on this fence line on this first spot. I got Dominic facing back to the east, and I got Derek facing to the west. We didn't know which way the coyotes were going to come from. The wind's in our favor. As luck would have it, there's a coyote.
I seen his head, and then all of a sudden he was gone.
Right over Dominic's head. Right over Dominic's head. On your side of the fence line. Yep. Back on the top of that hill. He just went over the top of that hill.
Derek dropped him like a rock out there.
He actually had to turn about 180 degrees to get this coyote shot.
Yeah, he kind of snuck right in there.
Derek made a heck of a shot on as our first stand, about 6 in the morning. coyote calling contest, it really looked like it was going to be an awesome day.
You know, I've done this a couple of years now, and every time those guys get a coyote within 100 yards, it's just mind-boggling how they can get that done.
Coyote's been caught in the trap, looks like it once already. But as you see, we clearly called it in. 56 steps, you said, huh?
Yep. I think the second set we did where we had a coyote come in was in the river break.
We just got done making a set right along that creek bottom, and we was getting ready to head out and seen this coyote. He was kind of moseying along this field and just wasn't gonna stop, so we drove over a little ways and got parked and walked over the hill and tried calling him in. We couldn't ever get him to stop, turn around, even look at us. And
there he's going up the hill. He's left up that side hill. 755. He's fucking far zoomed in here. Look at up on that side hill, about going out of sight. He's up here right in the middle of it.
I'm looking. I'm almost out of sight.
You see him?
I can't. I'm looking hard too.
He's standing there. Right in the middle of that.
I'm looking right in the middle.
There he's walking now. Look at your naked eye, maybe. Left, going left.
This far left.
Yep, far left in that side hill. He's up by that. See that white? Look in your bare naked eye. See
Yeah.
that? You see him now? He really sticks out now.
Right in the white there?
Look down and to the right. He's walking up to the white now. Look at your naked eye. See that white spot up there on the left side?
Are you waiting?
No, up on that side hill to us. Yeah. On the clear to the left before you can go over the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
See that white speck or that big white blob?
Yeah.
He's right below that, to the right, on the right hand side. There he's about in the white now.
Oh, there he is.
820.
Jeez, that's way off enough.
Well, we as well try him. We're in a video contest.
820.
Standing there.
Shoot, I can't see the fuck at all.
You got me dialed in?
I couldn't find him. I was looking all over, and Lonny was running the camera. Finally, Lonny kicked me out of the shooting position and took over. And while he found him and dialed him in, it was like 820 yards. And
Where'd he go now, Dom?
He's still sitting there.
Oh, I see him. I'm guessing I'm gonna hit low.
the time I shot that coyote at 750, I was at 13 and a half quick.
He's gonna walk out of sight here pretty quick, Lonny.
Alright. Well, we can test.
Oh, I got him on camera just perfect now, Lonny. Perfect.
On a go ahead and count us so he stops again.
Shoot him, Lon.
Oh
You hit him in the back, Lonny.
no, I didn't.
Sure you did.
Shot right in front of him.
No way. Well, he shoots, and from the camera, it looked like he hit him in the back, but he hit right to the front of him. But that's just from when he shot that coyote, just tucked his tail and took off running. So I thought he hit him, but he didn't. It would have been a pretty sweet shot if he did, though.
After the first stand was, worked out so well, we were pumped up, and tell you that luck just wasn't in our favor. We ended up having a pretty tough time the rest of the day.
Glad I'm on him, Lonny.
We walk in, same as we'd done already that day. Walk in, get set up, get sat down. I think Derek was running the camera that time. Lonny was on the left side of Derek, and I was on the right. And there's a river bottom that came through and made a hook, and there was I'd probably say 50, 60 foot sheer drop off from the pasture into the river bottom.
Yeah, we had a coyote show up just kind of out of the blue before we even really started calling. I was getting set up, but I think there was some miscommunication there and between Derek and I and Dominic, and little did I know Dominic was getting set up too. And about right when I was wanting to take a shot, Dominic beat me to the punch. And
Derek says, take him, and Lonnie's like, no, and I take him. And I miss another coyote, and
it was a little tough shot. It was about 400-yard shot, but he just didn't give him enough wind.
he meandered along. He actually got all the way down. We watched him the whole time, and he came down the bottom, back out and around, and then started coming down.
Being the windy conditions it was, and being so cold, it just wasn't worth taking another shot, and we decided to let him go and keep trying to call this spot, but it didn't help us in the long run.
Lonnie starts scolding us about missing coyotes, and we could have got him closer. And when we shot at that one, there was actually another coyote coming down the river bottom towards us, so it was frustrating to say the least.
This next spot, we've actually haven't called it too often, but we knew there was coyotes in the area. Being in the windy, cold as it was, we knew we had to get out of the wind. That's where a coyote's gonna wanna be. So we decided to try it.
And there's a big river bottom with wooded area down in the middle. And we're sitting there calling and calling and calling. Nothing. We were about ready to pack up and get out of there. And then up behind me, I heard some rustling through a plum thicket, and I turn around and there's a coyote standing there at about 25 yards behind us. They try to get the camera on him. He's running down the hill, and Lonnie's yelling, shoot him. And
when he comes on the river, don't he? And we just popped over the hill and right off that big sand hill down onto the river and took off running, and Lonnie and Dom let a couple rounds rip, but okay, more like unloaded their clips.
I missed him every time. Lonnie missed him every time. I didn't feel so bad about that because Lonnie actually missed too, but
could never make contact on him.
Hey. Hi.
I might as well have left my rifle in the truck. It was one of those kind of days.
I heard something and he hit that thicket right there.
Damn.
Kind of startled us just about as much as we startled him.
Damn it, Derek.
Hey, it happened.
We pretty much unloaded our guns on this coyote trying to get him shot, but could not connect.
After that set, I was just sick to my stomach. Missed 2 coyotes, and I was ready to pack it up, and Lonnie's like, oh, we got one more good set we can go try, and I almost sat in the truck during that set because I was so mad at myself.
This coyote wasn't no sooner we flipped the electronic collar on, and this coyote was barreling to us. It's coming about right at Dominic and I. So Dominic, this is probably gonna be your coyote, so be ready to shoot,
He wasn't stopping.
I've never seen a coyote just come running. Full speed all the way up to the knoll we're sitting on, and then he just disappeared. We're like, where'd he go? And Lonnie's like, just sit down, just sit down.
Dips up behind that ridge and turns around and heading the other way.
We're like, where'd he go? And Lonny's like, just sit down, just sit down.
Before you know it, he's skedaddling about as fast out of there as fast as he came in. And I don't know how Derek did it, but
It wasn't gonna stop, so I just
Oh, you hit him. Hit him, Derek.
put a luck shot on him and tipped him over.
man, he made a good shot on that coyote right before he went out of sight.
Oh, you hit him. Hit him, Derek.
Derek lets a round off and rolls him over, but we can't see where he's at. I mean, just little rolling hills, and just lost him. And all of a sudden, we're looking out there, and he comes staggering up over the hill with his butt dragging, and
Shot him, must have just broke a leg or so and put him down for a little bit, but he gets up and tries to take off, and then I put a good solid shot on him then, so. I'd never, just injure a coyote and leave it. There's sometimes you have to put a second shot on them, whether they're 100 yards and still moving away from you, but that ain't no good. You leave an animal suffer out there.
just knowing that we actually had a coyote in the truck was a good day.
Well, we're in a contest with old Dominic Plunkett, Brotherhood Arms. This is our contest, the second annual Cheyenne River Classic.
When we were setting up our contest, we were talking about who we were going to help this year. Should we help Dominic again?
The first year, the guys gave back to us and helped us. This year, we were able to donate some prizes to the table and help out another family in need.
Just so happened we had a friend to the Cheyenne River Predator Hunters get in a bad horse accident. This year we chose to help out Tommy Dale Vines. Tommy Dale is a rancher from central South Dakota. He has his own ranch. He runs cows and farms a little bit, and he actually, in the year prior, donated an item to be in the silent auction. He's really just a good old South Dakota rancher. This year, unfortunately, he experienced a bad horse accident. He had a horse flip over on him, really messed up his back, and he had to go through a lot of physical therapy and just to get to walk again. And so we knew we had to give back to him, and it was a great way for us to help out with some of his medical expenses he was experiencing, and the hardship that his family was experiencing as well.
Next time, Lonny shows off his superpower,
I don't know how he does it, to be honest with you.
and Orrin and Dakota have a run-in with a trash-talking dog.
He was mad. He was upset. We were in his territory and he was warning barking.
That's on the next episode of Coyote Culture.